All right, let's go. President Biden is meeting with business leaders and experts to discuss growing cybersecurity threats. Let's listen in.
Standards, which will have a ripple effect across the software industry, in our view, ultimately improving security for all Americans. We've launched a 100-day initiative to improve cybersecurity across the electric sector. That initiative has already resulted in more than 150 utilities that serve 90 million Americans being deployed and or committing to deploy cybersecurity technology that are extending that initiative as to gas pipelines as well next. That's where we're going. And because the cybersecurity is a global issue, we've also rallied G7 countries to hold nations who harbor ransomware criminals accountable. And I might add, I had a summit with Vladimir Putin and made it clear to him that we expected him to hold them accountable as well, because they know where they are and who they are. But that's another issue we will not be discussing so much today. We updated NATO's cyber policy for the first time in 7 years. And today my team is hosting a meeting bringing together 30 of the nations, 30 nations to step up in their fight against ransomware. But the reality is most of our critical infrastructure is owned and operated by the private sector, and the federal government can't meet this challenge alone. So I've invited you all here today because you have the power, the capacity, and the responsibility, I believe, to raise the bar on cybersecurity. And so ultimately, we've got a lot of work to do, and thank you all very much, and thank the press for being here. We're going to go private now.
Mr. President, if Americans are still in Afghanistan after the deadline, what would you do? Thank you, guys. Sir, what would we do if Americans are still there after the deadline?
President Biden, we're just making sure he's not going to respond to any questions there. Of course, lobbed on everything from Afghanistan to the other top issues of the week. He was meeting or is meeting with top CEOs and experts to discuss cybersecurity. Let's bring in Eamon Javers for a little more color here. Eamon?
Kelly, the reporters in the room there trying to get the president to answer a couple of questions. He does not seem to want to take the bait. Obviously, Afghanistan is one of the issues that he'll be asked about. But in terms of this meeting today, the goal of the White House says is to sort of do that public-private partnership that we hear so much about in theory and take that and turn it into something real in practice. They're looking for the companies who are in the room today, including, huge heavy hitters like Google and Microsoft and Apple, to ante up, to offer some deliverables here in terms of security. We heard from the White House's cybersecurity advisor earlier today on CNBC, who said one of the things that she's looking forward to is hearing how these companies plan to build cybersecurity into the software and hardware that they sell from the outset, rather than having to go back and patch and defend later. That's an interesting thing to watch for, because we might hear some announcements along those lines from some of these companies later on. But the other big issue here is this workforce shortage of about 500,000 workers, the White House says. Those jobs are empty in the cybersecurity space right now. They would like to fill them, and they would like to ramp up training, apprenticeships, pay scales, all the rest of the things that you need to do to bring workers in. This industry, like so many other industries right now across the country, facing a severe worker shortage. So a lot for them to discuss. And you see the White House reverting to form here and kicking the press out. That's a sort of standard move. The previous administration would sort of let the press hang out and film the whole thing. In this case, they opened up the top for what we call a spray, and then out the press goes, and on goes the meeting in private.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.